So let's quickly go through that. What are the different kinds of arbitration? So the first one is arbitration without intervention of the court, the simplest form, which is most common. Here it says that the parties to an arbitration agreement may agree that any reference thereunder shall be to an arbitrator or arbitrators to be appointed by a person designated in the agreement either by name or as the holder for the time being of any office of appointment. This means that when you are signing the contract agreement, there itself it is written that in case there is a need of an arbitration, who or who all will be appointed as an arbitrator to solve that. Okay, so that clause needs to be there. So there is no mention of whether it will be taken to court or whether a court will intervene at all in this or not. Okay, so that's the simplest form. That means your day-to-day clarifications that you need. So when two parties are getting confused over one particular aspect and they need it to solve immediately and don't want to get into the court, you go for a simple arbitration. The next one is arbitration with intervention of court. Okay, so that can also be under three circumstances, that you need the intervention of court while you are following the process of arbitration, where any person has entered into an arbitration agreement before the institution of any suit with respect to the subject matter of the agreement or any part of it, and where a difference has arisen to which the agreement applies, they or any of them may apply to a court having jurisdiction in a matter to which the agreement relates, that the agreement to be filed in court. Okay, language is critical. Simply it means that you were in an arbitration process which will lead into or which might be taken to a court. Okay, so the subject matter of that arbitration or agreement is done by the court, but a small section of it is arbitrated, or an appointment of an arbitration is done whose decision helps in the court's decision, but court's verdict may not be depending on this arbitration. Okay, so this means that there is an arbitration where court has to intervene, but where there is no suit pending. Okay, let's find the second condition where it may be applicable. On such application being made, the court shall direct notice thereof to be given to all the parties to the agreement other than the applicant, requiring them to show cause within the time specified in the notice why the agreement should not be filed. Okay, so this is an intermediate situations where an arbitration is over or is done, but one of the party in that arbitration felt that some injustice has happened. So he or she applies to the court and the court asks for a show cause. Here what they say is, why is he again complaining that in spite of the arbitration that something injustice has happened? So the show cause letter is only given by the court. And now if there is sufficient reason that something was not right during the arbitration process, so the court what will do, court will say, okay, let the party who has submitted the letter again to the court, that may be now filed. This can now be filed for the court to go for a judgment beyond the agreement. As if say, who are online, let me see. Okay, the first name I see is Sharmila and second name I see is Pragya. So Sharmila and Pragya were, or uske niche hai Amartya. So Sharmila was a grievance party. She had a problem against the work done by Pragya and Amartya. Let's take this situation up. So what was done is, these two party or these three parties decided one arbitrator. And an arbitrator, say myself I am the arbitrator, I have given the award. I have given the award. So after receiving the award, what Sharmila felt, or maybe Amartya has felt, is okay. It was arbitrated, and ऐसा हो गया कि मतलब I am at a loss. I have lost something for which I was not supposed to lose. So he writes to a court and asks that let court decide whether whatever I am writing the complaint should be filed in the court or not, or should that be submitted in the court, or should court accept that or not. Before its acceptance, what court does is it gives a show cause to the other party that something has an agreement and notice has been given to me that this particular person is going to a, file a complaint in the court because these things were not clear from your end, which led to an arbitration award. So under these circumstances, if the parties come up and say that no, हमें जो देना था we have already given and nothing else we can give, so there is no sufficient cause or clause which the parties have given in response to the show cause. So the court shall order the agreement to be filed and shall make an order. The third stage of this particular type of arbitration is, see, where no sufficient cause is shown, the court shall order the agreement to be filed and shall make an order of reference to the arbitrator appointed by the parties, whether in the agreement or otherwise. Or where the parties cannot agree upon an arbitrator, the court responds to an arbitrator appointed by the himself. So here what happens is the court assigns another arbitrator to solve that particular situation. Now it may happen that initially the arbitration has not even happened. The two parties, those who were in the problem, say Sharmila had a issue against some action taken done by Pragya and Amartya. So Pragya and Amartya is a team and Sharmila is another team. Maybe Amartya is the client, Pragya is the architect, and Sharmila is the contractor. So now there is a conflict on a particular idea. Now neither of the party feels that they have any arbitrator with them. They may have an arbitrator or they may not have an arbitrator. So what they do is they go to the court and ask, like, we have a small problem, I don't know how to solve it. So the court now appoints an arbitrator after giving a show cause notice. So somebody is the defaulter, so or the grievance party. So Sharmila is facing some problem because she is not being released, maybe the payment which she was promised, being the contractor. So she is a grievance party. She goes to approaches the court. Now court, instead of taking it to the suite, that means lawyers will be employed and proper judgment will come with the time and all, what the court does is it gives a show cause notice to the two people that a complaint is going to be filed in the court. So do you have anything to say or not? If they say no, we don't have anything to say right now, so what the court does is the court now appoints an arbitrator for them. Now see, this arbitrator hasn't come to help by himself. He has been appointed. So still it is an arbitration, not a conciliation. Okay. So that's the second type of arbitration where the court intervenes, but there is no suit pending. And the third one is arbitration in the suit, where in all the suits or any suits where all the parties interested agree that any matter of differences between them in the suit shall be referred to arbitration. They may at any time before judgment be pronounced apply in writing to the court for an order of reference. So here what happens is, the third kind is whatever disputes were there among the parties, everything is filed in a court, and then the court arranges for an arbitration procedure. It houses the situation of an arbitration. Okay, so that's the third type. Don't have to get into too much difference between them, because once you need this particular, once you need to go for an arbitration, the best possible way out is to discuss with the grievance party and try to find out one person whom both of you have a faith into, and then come up with a decision making by submitting all the reference. So that will be simple, that will be cheaper, and there will be no bitter relationship among the parties. So if it is arbitrable, if it can be solved without employing lawyers, by just putting up arbitrators and paying them nominal fees to listen, and it is a fast, it is much faster than a fast track court. आजकल सुनने में है ना, फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट होता है और पोर्टेबल कोर्ट्स. So the magistrate, they keep on moving from shops to shops and some other places where they find some dispute, immediately they put a fine as a magistrate. So ये सब छोड़ दो, nothing like that. It is all solved. Particularly, these district magistrates, the district collectors who act as a district magistrates. So magistrates means they have this power which is similar to the power of a judge in district level. So they particularly do this kind of arbitrations. Okay. But we will be focusing mostly on arbitrations relevant to construction management. Okay. The next topic that we were supposed to discuss is the stages of arbitration. So the first one that we said is appointment of the arbitrator. So here the contractor should submit his statement of fact containing the detail about his grievance and claim against the respondent within the period of limitation. So it can be 90 days, it can be 9 hours, it can be 1 hour. It depends on the situation and the case. But everybody has to be given some time to go through that and be prepared to arbitrate. Okay. So in construction project, generally the superintendent engineer, that means the supervisor of the chief engineers, are generally concerned as the arbitrator. So individual chief engineers should appoint the arbitrator, and within 30 days from the receipt of such a request, that arbitrator, who is the executive engineer of the superintendent engineer, will listen to all the facts submitted by the engineers or the chief engineers. Yes, someone wants to ask something. Someone is unmuted. Rohit, do you want to ask something? I can't hear you. Rohit, can you hear me? Okay, thank you. Yes. Yes, now I can hear you, but you were unmuted, so I was hearing a lot of disturbances. Anyways. Okay. We were discussing the first step of arbitration procedure, which is the appointment. So this example is particularly for a civil engineering contract. So all construction field or construction the office make cases that what the setups are and who can appoint the arbitrator has been explained in here. So in the next class, we will be having, on next Friday, we will be having a discussion on any of the arbitration cases. I have some copies which I will send you by tomorrow or day after. So you will have a look at some examples of very trivial architectural arbitration cases. So who was appointed, how much was he paid, what were all heard, what evidences were submitted by which party, and on what basis the award was given or issued. We'll get to that. But before that, the second step of arbitration procedure is the preparation and submission of a case for arbitration. So after the appointment of an arbitrator, there is a preliminary meeting. In that meeting, the grievance party asks for the gives the statement and asks for a particular claim that नहीं इसके लिए मेरा बहुत नुकसान हो गया. He should give a response and pay me this much amount of money within a specific date. And he gives the statement of fact along with that. Now this statement is accompanied with copies of all documents or correspondences or agreements, bills, so you can understand that if your contract document is absolutely clear with all the clauses that is required, you need not supply all this information separately. Your contract document will, the clauses of the contract document itself will say what all documents needs to be added along with your statement. So one copy of this statement of fact is also forwarded to the respondent. That means if Sharmila is the grievance party, she has faced some problem and she wants she is claiming some response or some monetary or economical loss makeup management from the other two or other team. Then she submits two copy of statement or statement of fact, commonly known as statement of facts, one to the arbitrator which has been decided by both the parties, and the second one to the other party. So the arbitrator next directs the respondents to submit their counter statement of fact within a specific date. So it is not exactly a show cause. Since the arbitrator has been appointed by both the parties, so upon receiving the statement of facts from one party, particularly the grievance party, immediately the arbitrator asks ki, he doesn't say ki you have to respond to the questions of the first person, and he generally doesn't discloses the fact or the statement of fact given by the grievance party. He only says about the topic that on this basis both the team are going to arbitrate. So the second party, which is made by, formed by Amartya and Pragya, all of you, both of you, against this particular case, you give your statement of fact. That means information, whatever you have, you just submit. Your submission of information doesn't have to be point wise in response to the points that were raised by Sharmila. Am I making myself clear about the situation? Are you understanding the situation, what has actually happened, or the discussion that I am making?
Yes, sir.
And others?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So, so now I have been the arbitrator, have received a statement of fact from Sharmila, and then I ask you, okay, both of you are going to solve a issue of a problem which has happened in your group assignment or class में कुछ problem हो गया और construction में कुछ problem आ गया, something has to be sorted. So I asked the team of Pragya and Amartya that within the next 30 days or 7 days, as I feel, as the arbitrator feel, should be good enough for them to collect the information and not much time to manipulate those data and submit. Just ask them to blindly submit all relevant statements of fact. Now neither party knows ki whether those are good enough to support or to take action against the other party's statement of fact or not. Okay. Next, what happened is the respondent, that means Pragya and Amartya, your team, takes prompt action to prepare the defense duly supported by adequate documentary evidence and witnesses to the superintending engineer. Now, what may happen is, since one copy of the statement of fact has also been given to the respondent, that means Sharmila has given a copy of statement of fact to me as well as a copy of that to Amartya and Pragya's team. So they may also feel that they will only supply the information against those particular claims, which they may do. But remember, once they supply this statement of fact, and during the process of hearing and arbitration, they need to supply something else, it will become critical. So better cover up all the issues which were stated by the grievance party and give all other necessary informations that you want to submit to make your case strong. Okay, and then whatever this party, the respondent party, so Sharmila is the grievance party and the other two members form a team which is known as the respondent party. In this particular case, they submit their own statement of fact to the arbitrator, as well as one copy of this counter statement is forwarded to the claimant. Claimant here means the grievance party. So this is the procedure. So now everybody knows the information or the documents of the other parties. Then starts the hearing, the third stage. So according to the provision of the Arbitration Act 1940, or you can say the subsequent amended acts, what happens is you are going to decide whether it is a off court or in court, with or without a suit pending type of arbitration. So for example, say this particular is an arbitration without the intervention of the court. So what will happen is, I am the arbitrator, I am going through all the statements and trying to clarify. If I have any issue, I'm trying to clarify all those either from the two parties or from any other places. For example, say the contract was signed between these two parties in presence of a witness. I was not the witness, there was somebody else who was the witness. So I will call the witness and clarify that under what power you were the witness of this contract. When you are signing this as a witness, what was the discussion happening in between them? How clear was the contract? Did the parties read before they signed the contract or not? All this clarification, whatever I need. If I need if I, being the arbitrator, need any guidance from any legal practitioner, I will go for that. If I need any certified documents from any particular authority, मान लो sanction drawing जो submit हुआ था, and lot of modifications are being asked beyond the sanction drawing. So I will go to the municipality and with this information I will ask for a copy of that sanction drawing. So इतने चीजें करने के बाद I will listen to both the parties. In clear, they have to not only inform me with the information but has to clarify all my queries individually one to one करके. Then only I will go for the fourth stage, which is issue of award. But it says, when the arbitrator has made his award, he shall sign it and shall give notice in writing to the parties of the making and signing thereof, and the amount of fees and charges payable in respect of the arbitration and award. So because of the procedure of arbitration and the money that you needed to issue this award, whatever money you need, you just give it in writing. So as if मैं आके बोलूँ अरे नहीं नहीं देखो ये contract में जब लिखा हुआ है, so you should be giving the money within the deadline because she did it. Sharmila has done the job, but what you are claiming is she was not able to give you the bill for that product on the particular date which she promised. But she has done the job and there is proof. Maybe from the clerk of work, the architect has got a proof that the work was done on right time. But since the delay was due to lack of some other official works or pen and paper works or something, or maybe a strike or something, so bill was delayed, hence the other party has not done the payment. So what I will say is, no, you should have done the payment. Okay, what you could have done is you could have deducted a small sum of money until you receive the bill, but you should have given that money. So you pay him that money and you pay me another 100 rupees because 50 rupees is my arbitration fee and 50 rupees is for the bus fare which I had to pay to go to different offices to collect information. So both the parties or the other party, the respondent party who is supposed to pay the grievance party, according to my award, I should be judiciously deciding or unbiasedly deciding किसको मुझे कितना पैसा देना पड़ेगा. Upon receiving that, both the parties will pay me, and according to the award, if they accept it, that amount of money will be handed over from one party to the other. So the award that I give, all this writing कि मैं ये मुझे लग रहा है कि, or sorry, I feel that this is supposed to be done within this particular date. After listening to both the parties, I am coming to this particular conclusion, and my fees for arbitration will be this, and the fees for the award and the stamp paper works and all will be this. So everything is being written in a non-judicial stamp paper. Okay. Now this is given to both the parties. I don't put it in the court. I give it to both the parties. Now these two parties, if they are happy, in case of a arbitration without a court intervention, that means on spot arbitration, filing of award is not required. But if it was the court who has appointed me as the arbitrator to solve the problem among the two parties or the three parties, then the award that has been issued has to be sent to the grievance party and the respondent party. After they accept this particular thing, or if they reject this particular thing, a copy of this award has to be filed in the court. Now, in the reference which was made by the court, the arbitrator or the umpire should file the award in the court itself. In case, I am reading from the third paragraph on this particular page. In the reference was made by the court, if the reference was made by the court, the arbitrators or umpire should file the award in the court. In case the reference is made by the parties out of the court, the arbitrator or the umpire should give notice of the same to the parties as soon as the award is made. So once you issue it, you just notify the two parties. They shall file the award in court as so requested to do by the parties. So that means if now the two parties feel that we should take up this award and put it in the court, that means a magistrate will come and sign below that stamp paper, where the two parties also give their point that I agree to whatever has been awarded to me and I will do the payment. So there are a lot of signs below, and it now becomes a legal record, an addition to the contract. Okay. So are the steps understood? Have I made myself clear about the different stages of arbitration?
Sir, it's a bit lengthy, but yes, sir, it is understood. If we study it,
it is even more lengthy if you want to go for actual cases, actual project cases. But what I've done is I found this book chapter which is written in the simplest of languages. But these case clauses are generally taken from an act. So if you open the act, if you open the actual act, okay, where is that arbitration act? This is the amended act where you have a lot of definitions, and later okay, can you see my screen, which is a PDF with a file name of 04 Arbitration and Conciliation Act 2015?
yes, sir.
See here, one of the section of that particular act says the sum over which a dispute is made and what should be the model fee is to solve. मतलब अगर the two parties से शर्मिला के साथ बाकी का problem हो रहा है, Sharmila is a grievance party and she is claiming a fees of 5 lakh rupees. Then the model fee that the arbitrator should take is 45,000 rupees. If it is more than 5 lakh but less than 20 lakh, then 45,000 has to be paid plus, suppose 15 lakh का है, 15 lakh is the amount at dispute. So पहले 5 lakh के लिए 45,000 देना ही है to the arbitrator, प्लस बाकी 5 लाख से जो 15 लाख मतलब 10 लाख के ऊपर में 3.5% और भी देना है. Okay, so 35% has also to be added along with that. So ऐसे करके some clauses are given. Let me take any one section and you will understand how critical they are. Okay, this is actually an amendment. Let me find out if I have the original act. Yes, I have it. It is a 1996. See, 1996 the Arbitration Act 1940 was renamed as the Arbitration and Conciliation Act. Okay, people, please mind the spellings. There are a lot of cases where the spellings are mistaken. So please mind the spellings, because if you type this particular spelling in your, see, this is an Indian Act, and if you keep on typing it in your Microsoft Office, sometimes you will see in conciliation there is double L, sometimes double I. So please mind the actual spelling from the proper government notification. Okay, see here, the section says it, this particular act, which will be now known as the Arbitration and Conciliation Act 1996, will be extended to the whole of India, provided that part 1, matlab part 1 mein it is only about arbitration. Part 3 and part 4 shall extend to the state of Jammu and Kashmir only, in so far as they relate to international commercial arbitration. But baki ke 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, everything will be applicable across India. The third point says it shall come into force on a particular date as the central government may, by notification in an official gazette, appoint. Now remember, this particular way of writing in an act which is passed in an official gazette is fixed. You have to write in this particular way. You don't have to copy paste it, or the language doesn't have to be the same, but this is a way in which issues are raised in the parliament, and after its approval it is published in an official gazette. So first, the definition of all the probable terminologies that are going to come in this particular act are explained clearly, and then the clauses comes in. So if I say Control F, so the 5th chapter says conduct of arbitral proceedings, where the section says equal treatment of parties. The parties shall be treated with equality, and each party shall be given a full opportunity to present his case. That means the grievance party and the respondent party. So ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि grievance party में only शर्मिला इकलौती है and the other party has 2 people. So I will listen to the other party for more time and the first party will be heard for less time. No, all the parties in the arbitration will be treated as equal, irrespective of the number of people representing those parties. So those are given in this particular act. This is much more difficult to understand because now you are in your 4th year. You were supposed to go through certain acts, but I have skipped those because in your 9th semester you have to go through a lot of acts and rules. Council of Architecture rules, Architects Act 1972, those you have to read, and there it is simpler. The official gazettes are simpler. But once for your own clearance, if you want to be a bit more clear, you can have a glance at the Arbitration Act 1940. So in my screen I have the 1940 ka Act, which is just a 16-page small write-up. Let me share this link in the chat box. But I also have to check whether it is, what is the source. Yes, it's fine. It's fine. So the way to learn this particular chapter is, for a while, forget everything, just close your ears, keep your eyes open and read it multiple times. जितने बार इसको पढ़ोगे उतना अच्छे से समझ में आएगा. If you read it only once before your exam, believe me, you will only be able to write these 5 points in bold, and that will not make sense. Okay, so if keep necessary time for these particular chapters. It may look small, but once you read and it gets into your blood, then only it will become simple. Otherwise it is not that simple. Okay. So the second type of arbitration is the arbitration with the intervention of court, where there is no suit pending. So there the court has to appoint an arbitrator or an umpire. So in the following cases, in 21.18, we have written that where an arbitration agreement provides that the reference shall be to one or more arbitrator to be appointed by consent of the parties, and all the parties do not, after differences have arisen, concur in a appointment or appointments. That means both the parties cannot come together to fix up one arbitrator, or they cannot appoint one particular arbitrator or multiple arbitrator, but those arbitrator also cannot decide who is going to be the umpire. Then the court comes up and helps in appointing an arbitrator. Now here, if any arbitrator who is appointed or the umpire who is appointed neglects or refuses to act or to take necessary action, or is incapable of acting, or dies before giving the award, the arbitration agreement does not show that it is intended that the vacancy should not be supplied, and the parties of the arbitrator, as the case may be, do not supply the vacancy. This means that if a court appoints the arbitrator, like when can a court appoint an arbitrator? मान लो कि there was the court didn't appoint an arbitrator, but both the two parties appointed an arbitrator, but realize that the arbitrator is not working accordingly, or he is neglecting his job, or maybe unfortunately he died before giving the verdict. Then again, do you have to appoint an arbitrator? No, you can directly approach the court. Court will appoint an arbitrator. Okay, but then the situation says that if in the arbitration contract it is mentioned that in case this is arbitrator does not respond properly to the both the parties, then who else, say plan B जिसको बोलते हैं, then there may be another arbitrator. अगर वो नहीं है, मतलब who is going to fill up the vacancy left by the first arbitrator, ये अगर contract में नहीं है, then only court can appoint another fresh arbitrator. ठीक है, so these are the situations where the court will appoint an arbitrator. It may also happen that there is a need of arbitration, नहीं तो कोर्ट के बाकी के जो केसेस पड़ा हुआ है रिलेटेड और which is an outcome of the same arbitration, मतलब कोर्ट प्रोसीडिंग्स you know that it trains for or it drags for long time, इसके बीच में एक छोटा सा issue has to be sorted by an arbitration. So an arbitrator has been appointed by both the parties, not by the court. Whatever the arbitrator will say will be later filed in the court, so that court पहले का जो केस चल रहा था उसको आगे बढ़ा सकते. So in that particular case, if the appointment of an arbitrator is not made within 15 clear days of taking that decision, then again Sharmila and the other party were not able to decide कि 15 दिन के अंदर they could not decide कि whom to appoint as an arbitrator. Then the court will come and say, because नहीं तो court का बाकी decision लेने में देर हो जाएगा, so court will come and say that okay, I am going to appoint an arbitrator or an umpire. Okay, so this is about arbitration. Have you all received this particular handout? The one which I shared in my screen, have you all received this handout?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay. Those who have not received, please go to your Nitris and then download it. Okay, I will follow this particular one only. So first I have defined conciliation. Conciliation is an ADR, commonly known as alternative dispute resolution. So arbitration is also an ADR, conciliation is also an ADR, and there may be several other forms of different dispute resolution, where an independent third party, commonly known as the conciliator, help people in a dispute to identify the dispute issues, develop necessary options or probable options, and consider alternatives and try to reach an agreement. बहुत simple है, बहुत ही simple है, because it has been taken from, I guess, I took it long back. It is this Wikipedia definition. This FUD, जो bold में लिखा है. So a conciliator may have professional expertise in the subject. मतलब इज समथिंग लाइक, अरे मतलब तुम लोग क्लास में झगड़ रहे हो, मैं आके बोला अरे मत झगड़ो, बोलो क्या हुआ है, मैं बता देता हूँ क्या करना है. ऐसा होता है बहुत, many a times this happens. So what I am doing is conciliation, because you all have not appointed me, I have come by myself, and then I trying to find out. No, see, मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि क्लास में छोटा मोटा झगड़ा हो रहा है, झगड़ा नहीं हो रहा है मतलब कि कोई ऊंची आवाज में बात कर लिया बस, it has become an issue. So there I am conciliating out, I am working as a conciliator. But actually in construction management and project management, construction site, you can understand that the problems are not that simple, right? मतलब somebody has promised to do architectural consultancy and the client has thought अरे architectural consultancy के अंदर में तो interior included रहता है, but you have not received the suggestions and the design from interior design. So there you might need some help from arbitration or conciliation. So the conciliation process is almost similar, but issue is the conciliator will not take side or make decisions. मतलब what the conciliator do is make both the parties understand. Make the two parties are having an issue, I will not come and say कि अरे तुम ये क्यों कर रहे हो, जाओ बेंच पे खड़े हो जाओ और तुम क्लास के बाहर खड़े जाओ. No, I will convince both the people about the goods and bads of the discussion or the disagreement. ठीक है. I may decide कि ये गलत है कि ये सही है, ये या this is beneficial or this is not beneficial. Those are the things that I will say, but I am not going to file an award. And particularly conciliation is generally not taken to court. It is completely outside the court. So it is face to face, like two parties in conflict cannot solve a problem, the third party comes and helps in solution of the problem. That's conciliation. Okay. For example, say some of you come and say, "Ki I have a problem with this design which I cannot understand, so to whom to consult?" So I am actually conciliating between you and the other party who wants to guide you, but you are not happy to get guidance from him. So I am making those understand. अरे वो तो तुम्हारा student है. I will go to the other faculty and say, अरे forget that. See, you understand that they have all listened to you. Now they need more inputs, so they are consulting with somebody else. And I will make you understand. Okay, first at least make sure that the design faculty who is taking your design, you are clear about his intentions and all. There is no conflict with that. After that, if you want to have any additional information, for example, say you want to have information on the heating, ventilation and air conditioning in a hospital, and especially is hospital where the foul air and the clean air has to be segregated. For that you want to go to somebody else. So I can give, I may not give a common verdict, but I can give individual verdict to two different people. And then arbitration भी यहाँ पे लिखा हुआ है. The definitions are in here. The definition of arbitration and definition of conciliation are in this third page. So broadly the difference is, see in the enforcement, like I'm sure you can see the comparison chart. So first is the meaning. Arbitration is a dispute settlement or alternative dispute resolution process in which an impartial third party is appointed to study the dispute and hear to both the party and then only arrive at a decision binding on both the parties. So the decision preferably has to be accepted by both the parties. The conciliation is a method of resolving dispute wherein an independent person helps the parties to arrive at negotiated settlement. So see, this is how we generally distinguish between. When I say that distinguish between two different things, you should not define those two. You should understand that both of them differs in a particular aspect. So identify the aspect and say that on that aspect how both of them respond. That will by default make it different. Okay, so this handout has also been given to you. Please go through this. In the next class, we will discuss one or two cases. Let me see if I have the soft copy of those cases. I will circulate it beforehand. So there is a book in the departmental library which I cannot share right now, which talks about the different arbitration cases, examples, and the proceedings. Not required at your level. It is not required. You just know that at some point of time, see, the outcome of this studying this particular chapter as a chapter of project management is, if an architect is appointed as a project manager, at many point he or she has to act as a arbitrator. Okay,